Hi everyone, my name is Chris Roman. I'm from Rane, here with Bax, and we're going to talk a little bit today about some great new products that we have at NAMM 2020 here in the Rane booth. What you see behind me right now is the Rane 70. This is our brand new premier mixer from Rane. It meets the 70 family, where we had the 72 that we released 2 years ago, which the winner of the last two DMC competitions actually won on a Rane 72. And you see it being used in competitions all over the world. It's a great mixer. You can do all sorts of great tricks on it, and it's really, really creative and things that you can do with it. However, that mixer also lends itself to being a bit too much sometimes for when you're going out and you're doing a gig and you're on stage and you just need to sort of the basics of what you want to be able to do. So we've made a streamlined mixer called the Rane 70, and the Rane 70 has in it all the features that you expect to have. If you take a look at the top of the unit, you're going to see your EQ section. You're also going to see two sets of loads on each side, one for each computer that you might have hooked up if you have two computers or whatever you're doing, or either side of the computer that you are on as well. Moving a little bit down on the unit, you're going to see that we have an effects section that's different than what we did on the 72, but very similar to what we did on the 62. And that is we've lined up the effects side by side, direct access for the flex effects that are inside it, and then you can switch modes and you can move over to the Serato effects that you might have hooked up from your computer. You can take those effects and you can do multiple effects with them. You can at the same time you can layer them with the flex effects if you want to, or you can leave that turned off and keep it very simple as well. So it's very, very much the way that you decide to structure this mixer is how you're going to be able to use the mixer. You'll notice that we still have the aluminum toggles in the middle of this. That is very solid construction. You can take and rotate those. So if you're looking to say maybe do an echo out or something like that, and you want the effect to be locked in when you bring your hand down, you might bring your hand down, lock the toggle in place, and then take the fader out, and then you have your echo tailing out in that situation. You'll notice on either side of the effects section, we've actually added a loop section. Now the loop section allows you to, of course, have your instant loops for whatever size it might be, but also allows you to do manual looping as well. So that's a nice feature to have called out separately, because sometimes you get in that situation, you just need quick access to the looping. Moving further on down, you're going to notice that the pad section also has been a bit streamlined. We've maintained that transport control that we had in the 72, where we have your ability to stop the song, start the song, do pitch and things like that. So if a needle breaks or you don't want to have to bring a set of players with you, you can always mix directly. Everything's on the mixer to be able to actually mix and play music. In addition to that, you have your standard roll, you have your sampling, your hot cues. We ship pitch and time with this, so you are able to do pitch play on the pads themselves. And then moving down, we have a very unique feature, a very, very unique first feature on the Rane 70, which is an instant doubles button, dedicated button for instant doubles. So if you're looking to, if you have one song over here and you want to double it up and go over to the right-hand side, or you just want to be pushing all your tracks to the right all night long, which a lot of guys like to do, you're able to do that very quickly. If you don't like that feature, if you don't want that feature, you can change that button to be actually a sync button, if that's your thing, or you can use it also for silent cue, which is another trick that you can do where basically when you hit the button, if the fader's up, it'll mute the song, and then when you hit the pad for cue, it'll bring the song back in again. All right, moving on down the mixer, you're going to notice that we have a brand new fader in here. It's called the Mag 4 fader. Now the Mag 4 fader is 60% lighter than the Mag 3 fader. We've reduced some of the components inside to give it a much lighter, much feather-like type of feel. In fact, I highly recommend going into Bax and checking it out, because I think you're going to love the feel of this new fader. This is the Mag 4. It will also be retrofittable into the Rane 72 after we release a little bit later on. Now, let's keep on moving through the mixer. If we move further down the mixer, or actually to the right of the faders, you're going to notice a queuing section that's slightly different than the 72. It's slider style queuing. So you move your sliders to left and right. You'll notice that the sample now control is also just below the pads. And then on the front of the mixer, you're going to see a tension adjustment for the crossfader. So we already talked about the fact we have the mag fader in there, which has a magnetic tension adjust in it, so there's no contact. But sometimes you're on stage, sometimes you're in a situation where you don't want the fader walking across at the gig, because all of a sudden if it walks just a little bit, it turns on the other channel. So if you take the tension adjust and tighten it up a little bit, it'll lock down the fader, so you don't have to worry about that. And then when you're done with that gig, you can back it off when you're back home again and you want to do all your cuts super loose. You just back it off. Just below that are your contour adjust, your reverse control, and all those things that you expect to have on faders. There is headphone control on the left-hand side here. There is an echo in here, so you can control mic 1, so you can control that. There are 2 microphones in the Rane 70, just like the 72, and those can be switched over to be line inputs as well. So if you have an MPC or something else you want to plug into the mixer to go along with the decks and everything else that you're doing, you can do that through there, or through the session input as well. That's on the back of the mixer. Now on the back of the mixer, we just talked about session, we just talked about the microphones. In addition to that, we have inputs for both turntables and media players and whatnot. We have the 12 connect in the back of it, so the 12s can be connected up, goes through the hub. You only need one wire at that point when you connect with the computer, and it allows the controllers to switch between the different computers as well. The master output is balanced, XLR balanced. The booth output is balanced as well. It's a 1/4 inch balanced, and it is all switching power, so you can take it anywhere in the world and not have to worry about having any kind of extra power brick or anything like that with it. So this is the Rane 70. We're showing it off here at NAMM 2020. We expect it to do very, very well. It's the same construction, many of the same boards that we use inside the 72, so it's got that 114 dB signal noise ratio. I suggest you come down to Bax, check it out. I think you'll be really impressed.